Hey guys, Chris from Tillman Family Farm here. Today we're going to go over some fence posts, okay? This process is not for everybody. Yes, we can go to the store and we can buy wooden fence posts, but you know, for some people they like to do it the old-fashioned way, and some people that are homesteaders that want to use as much things off the land as they possibly can. This is a process that you can use to make your own fence post. We got a lot of fencing projects coming up, and we had a lot of areas that we had some pine trees, some small pine trees. Here in Georgia we have a southern yellow pine or a loblolly pine. So we cut down several of them a couple weeks ago, and they've been drying, and we're going to go through the process of how to skin them out, let them finish drying a little bit, and then we'll char the outside of them, and we'll get a nice coating on them. Like I say, this process has been around for a long time. The old farmers used to do it. You know, they used creosote versus what we can get a hold of today. Creosote's been banned, but you know, still a great process. We use a lot of asphalt products, tar and things like that to get the outsides of them coated and sealed. So without fail and without further ado, we will get started with the process. Alright guys, so this is one of the steps that we're going to have to go through to get the actual post cleaned off. I've got the draw knife in my hand, and a lot of people set up you know, some form of sawhorse or something like that to do this process with. But if you can get it at an angle, when you get a draw knife in your hand, you're just going to have to find the angle that works for you, and then you just start. And of course you just have to roll it, but this is what you end up with. So you get the raw wood here. You just have to keep working it. You want to make sure that your draw knife stays nice and sharp. What I do with them after I get the whole entire top of it cleaned off, sometime to get this up here, I'll take the draw knife, turn it over. Just kind of clean it right on up to the top there. Roll the log, and then once you get this top portion done, you can actually take it and flip it over and work the other side of it. Alright guys, the next step is to calm the dogs down. Anyway, so the next step is after you get your log stripped, we will get the torch, and once we get the torch, we can char the outside of the log, okay? Alright guys, as you can see, we've got the log nice and charred. This process, the whole reason for this process is that bugs won't eat carbon. Okay, so you got this charred outside layer on these posts now, and what we'll do here in a few minutes, the next process of this is to take a wire brush and just kind of scuff the outside of this thing down all the way around and get all the loose carbon off of it like that. And we'll take a brush and we'll brush it down, and we'll get ready to paint the asphalt emulsion onto the post. All right. Ned, son, you got to get out of the way. This video's not about you. So guys, we got our wire brush here, and we're fixing to start working on our log. Ned wants to help. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just basically kind of run with the grain, and you can see the carbon on it just kind of being loose and all that stuff. We don't want to scrub it. We just want to kind of knock this stuff loose, and then we're going to hit it with the hand brush that we got and get it all cleaned off. But kind of get down in the cracks and all that stuff, and We don't want to spend a lot of time on this. We're just kind of getting the carbon kind of loosened up a little bit to where our asphalt emulsion will soak into the pores and the cracks and the crevices and all that stuff. And you know, you want to get the ends pretty good and go over the whole entire log before you start painting it, and that way you can get it all brushed up and all that good stuff. Ned. Here, you do it then. Anyhow, we'll get it all scrubbed up before we move on to the next step. Alright guys, so now we got our brush, and basically we're just going to take a few seconds here and brush the surface of this thing off, get all the loose stuff that'll fly off of it, and after that we'll get ready to start painting the post. Ned, you're going to get really dirty in this episode, buddy. Alright, for this next step, we've got our brush, and what I've chosen to use is it's an asphalt coating. A lot of people will use an asphalt emulsion that's made by Henry's, or you know, this particular step, the Japanese used to do this a long time ago, and they would use some type of oil to coat it with. People use old burnt motor oil to seal it. What you're essentially trying to do is you're trying to seal the outside of this post so that all of your you know, moisture and bugs and whatnot can't get in it to actually rot it from the inside out. So basically you're just putting a protective coating on it. Back in the day, the old farmers would have used creosote, which is what all the old telephone poles were made of and things like that, but somewhere throughout time they have banned it because it was a toxic substance, and people were getting sick or cancer or whatever off of it. So asphalt emulsion is probably the one that I think the best. This one is a little thick that I'm using, and it's got a fiber in it, so it's probably going to take me a little while longer to coat my post, but I think that this is going to do me a better job because of the situation that I'm using it in. Okay, so get in all the cracks and crevices. The other thing is too, some of the thinner ones, a lot of people just use like a roller, because this stuff is thinned down. I mean, you see how thick this is, and I have thinned this with paint thinner a little bit so that I can work with it. But I think that it's going to put the coat on it that I want, and that my posts are going to last as long as I really would like for them to last. I don't want to be pulling, you know, fences and, you know, 5 or 6 years from now have to redo my wooden posts. So I'm trying to get as much protection on them as I can. So take your time in this step and get everything all down in the cracks and crevices. And it'll take a little while, but you'll get it and you'll appreciate it after you're done. Alright guys, so basically what I have here is my whole entire post is painted. The ends, with the exception of the small strip on the bottom. Not 100% sure what the drying time on this will be, but you see it's got a shine in it as the sun's shining down on it because it's nice and thickly coated with this stuff. But at this point it will just be letting it dry, and then we'll flip it over and do the bottom side of it. Okay guys, there you have it. Fence posts are done. It's been raining like crazy here in Georgia, so we had a hard time getting as many done as we have. Here in a few weeks, when it dries up some, we're going to start a fencing project. We got some goats that we're getting into, and we're going to fence off a pretty big area over in the side of the pasture that's kind of wooded, and we're going to break it up into some sections so that we can push them around and have different graze like we do for the cows. So if you like what you saw, like and subscribe, and we're going to go through a series of this fencing stuff from start to finish, and we'll see how it turns out. Thanks for watching.